I've gotten calls from out of state on this bill. In Vancouver, we have a wonderful company called Papa Murphy's, and Papa Murphy's has a take and bake pizza. And what I found out is that if you go and buy a raw pizza, frozen or fresh, at your grocery store, you don't pay taxes on it because it's food and you cook it. If you go to Papa Murphy's, which is not a restaurant, and take the same kind of food home, you pay sales tax on it. And that didn't seem fair to me. So I introduced a bill to define that kind of a take and bake product as food. And so it's gotten a lot of attention. There aren't very many products like that. And what I found out when I looked into it more is that some of these Papa Murphy's places, which are franchises, they're really healthy, they're expanding. It's a really good product. It's cheaper than buying the same product already cooked in a restaurant. But some of the locations, they get a lot of people whose only food choice, if they can't get to a grocery store, there is no grocery store in their area, they have a choice between a Papa Murphy's and something from 7-Eleven that isn't as healthy. And so, this is a good option, and everybody loves pizza. And I think that's probably why I've gotten so many phone calls about it. But I had hearings on that bill and a lot of other bills scheduled for this week, too. One of the interesting little evolutions of businesses, even illegal businesses, evolve and expand to fill gaps. We were right on the border with Oregon. Oregon had a problem with phony foot massage businesses that were, frankly, prostitution. They were unlicensed, they were in neighborhoods, they were a nuisance, and they cracked down on that. So they moved across the river to my community and generated a lot of complaints. And when the city attorney's office looked at this and the police looked at this, they realized that there were, in fact, instances of sex trafficking. So punishing the so-called massage therapists or foot massage therapists didn't seem the right way to go. So we're going at it through licensing, that if the pimp or the owner knowingly has somebody who's not licensed offering these kinds of services, then it's a Class C felony. And so that should bring us into parity with our border state. All of our police departments, especially along the I-5 corridor, are working very hard to crack down on sex trafficking. So this is a bigger problem than it sounds like. And it also protects the people that have a lot of training and go through the health and licensing criteria to be legitimate practitioners of a really important medical therapy. Well, some people have gotten a little upset with me about that until they find out what I'm talking about. I had a wonderful group of school kids who were here to learn about the legislative process, and they had an idea for a bill. And so I'm helping them with their education by sponsoring that bill, and they've already been kept up to date on an amendment that we had to do. They started out with a bill on toy guns to make toy guns more obvious, brightly colored, etc. We've had to change it to imitation guns to cover the situation they were really talking about, and because toy guns are already addressed at the federal level and through interstate commerce and through a different area of the law. So we're talking about making imitation guns obviously imitation guns, so hopefully to prevent some tragedies. And this comes from a group of very young, very bright, very enthusiastic school children, and it's really fun. This is the part of the job I like because we're training the next generation of leaders. I'm Sharon Wylie from the 49th District, America's Vancouver. Thank you so much for listening.